from staying alive to having more and more. So we switched from the survival mode to
greed.
Yeah.
And selfishness.
Selfishness was always there, but it was no good. It was just
you can't like exercise selfishness when there is nothing that you can take, so there's no reason. You can be selfish, but you can't do anything about it if you have nothing, because there's nothing to take. That shift became when there appeared something to take. When there was something to take. Because if there's no more money left in the world, then no one can be greedy anymore. They can be greedy, they can feel greedy, but they can't be greedy if there is no money, because then what are you gonna do with that greed? It's never gonna go anywhere, so greed would disappear. But would society really collapse if there was no money? Because yes, people are afraid of like thieves, but it wouldn't be called stealing if the thing you're taking has no value. Because like if it doesn't cost anything, then is it really stealing?
I guess so.
Because stealing is defined by the act of taking from another.
Well, there it comes down. You can even steal someone's trash. It doesn't need to have a value.
Yeah. One man's trash and another's treasure. Yes, but it can have value to you. Value depends. Money is in the eye of the beholder. Something can have absolutely no value to a rich person. They just throw it away. And then a poor person comes along. They take that and it's the most valuable thing they've seen in their life because they don't have anything else to compare it to. Like, they can't say, oh, this is worthless because this costs more. No, because they don't have anything that costs more.
Tricky shoes.
And it's crazy that some people can just take and take and take and take, like, without leaving anything else. Because it's taking until you have to give back, because there remains nothing else to take. So I think the more greedy you become, the more selfless you're going to have to become. Because slowly, you're going to run out of things to take. And you're going to have to give back so you can take more. This does not draw me to the conclusion that greed is good. Because there is that in between. There is that time where you're just taking and taking, leaving nothing else for the rest. Well, you still have. And right now, I think we're at that stage of humanity where there is still so much to take. There's still so much to lose. But soon, my prediction for the future is that we're going to run out of things to take. And people are going to have to start realizing, oh, there's nothing for us to take, we should give. And the people who can't realize that, the really greedy ones, that will be their downfall.
Well, there's always stuff to chase after when you.
Not always. Because new things are going to become valuable, and then those things are going to be the ones we take, and it's an endless cycle. But not always, because there's not always going to be something to take, because imagine, the world runs out of resources, you have nothing to take, you only have to survive and to give.
Absolutely, so.
Because giving is imagine you're greedy and you take a lot of crops like seeds and stuff, and then suddenly the garden is not full anymore. So instead you have to give, you have to plant more things so you can take more. And to that I say, yes, it is an act of goodness, you are planting, but you are planting to take. So you have more things to take. And that brings me to my first question. Do the motives really matter when the end result is the same? That's that in a different context. Because in the end, you're planting the field, right? So does it really matter that you planted the field for your own gain, of your own volition, for your own gain? No one told you to do that. You told yourself to do that. Instead of a person like a farmer planting things to give to other people, you're planting things to take from that garden. But is it really different when that garden remains planted at the end of the day?
Well, you are changing the context, though. That's a good thing. And good things tend to be reason doesn't, you don't need the reasoning to do a good thing. But you will need a reason.
Because if it has a reason, then it's not out of the goodness of your heart anymore. It's not a good thing anymore.
Yeah.
That shifts.
Yeah, that's true too. However, there is always going to be some stuff to chase after, like clean sources of water, which is going to be the new
thing to take.
New thing to chase after, yeah. Absolutely.
Yes, but then the earth runs out of water, then what else is there to take? Let's say the earth becomes a barren land, there's nothing left. It's just dirt everywhere. All the buildings, there's no buildings anymore, there's nothing. It's just people, we're surviving, there's no animals, nothing. It's just us. Then those lives, the lives of other people will be the things to take, because we will start cannibalizing each other, because there's nothing else to eat. We will go back to our survival instincts. And let's be real, it's gonna be kind of like a zombie apocalypse. We're gonna start eating each other. For a while, people are just going to starve, because there's nothing to eat, and we would never think of eating another human being, or even, if that thought does cross your mind, that it's disgusting, right? So we wouldn't do that. But then, our animal instincts would kick in. After a while of starving, our animal instincts would kick in, and we would start eating each other, because that is the only thing left to survive, and people value their own lives above everything else, and the people who don't are crazy, are labeled as crazy.
Neden girdin şimdi?
Sen neden girdin ki bu işe?
Canım Allah Allah, bulaşık yıkarım abi.
Tamam. Allah.
O neden?
Dur şunu da koyalım. Böyle mi koyalım?
It is at that point where greed becomes pointless. It is at that point where greed becomes pointless. Because there's nothing to be greedy about.
You'll never take it out of a human being. You will always find something to chase after.
Yes, and that's what makes us incredibly selfish creatures. Yes. Because, really, some
Let me
people.
ask it that way. Do the laws always serve the justice? Because justice and law are separate things.
Yes. Because I think that most people, first of all, humans are selfish creatures. We know this. We are narcissistic. We care about ourselves. There are few with compassion towards others in the world. And even then, most of those people, I would say, like 80% of people think about themselves. 10%, no, 10 or 15% do acts of service for others in only if they will benefit from it. 5% do things for others even though they will not benefit from it, will not get any praise, will not get any acknowledgement, won't get money, nothing. They won't gain anything from it. And that's less than 5% of people, I would say. Because
some of them
because we are wired to think about ourselves.
For it.
Because we are wired to think about ourselves. It's a pessimistic view, but it's true. So again, I come back to my question. Do people follow the laws because they are put there? Or do people follow the laws out of the compassion in their hearts? And for those who break the law, do they break the law for money, or do they break the law because they enjoy it? For personal pleasure, not gain.
I don't think that doesn't represent any majority.
Just the mentally ill ones.
Probably.
Because there is a vast difference. But this was my point from the end. There's a vast difference between a sadist, someone who hurts others because they enjoy it, and there's a difference between that versus someone who hurts people because they get money for it. In the end, it's the same results. Someone gets hurt or they hurt someone, which are two very different things because they are looking at the views from two different points of view. Someone gets hurt, you're looking at that from the victim's point of view. You hurt someone, you're looking at that from the attacker's point of view. But my question is there a difference really between how we get there versus the results? Because it's always gonna end up the same. So if it's gonna end up the same, why should it matter how we get there? Let's say if you would all hell break loose if laws just suddenly didn't exist, if justice wasn't ever ruled out, if would all hell break loose, or would society stay the same? Because even if it wasn't publicly announced, hey, laws don't exist anymore, even if that was publicly announced, then it still would be it would be a while before people caught on. You're realizing, oh, you're not getting arrested for doing these things. You're not getting a speed ticket. You're not getting investigated. There's no homicide investigation if you killed someone in the back of an alley or something. I don't know. Here, stop that. No, go away. Go.
I think I didn't get your question.
I didn't really ask a question.
Okay.
Because it would take a while for people to catch on, right? Like you realize, oh, I'm not getting a speed ticket anymore because, and then you're realizing, oh, laws don't exist anymore, so order would stay for a while, and then would all of hell break loose, or would just people just go about their daily lives because that's what they're used to, not because they have a sense of morality, but would people go about their daily lives like they used to because they want a sense of preservation, like of routine, of like, would people desperately cling to how things used to be instead of accepting the new changes for the world? Those changes being violence and like
Old, vulnerable, and powerless people, like, without having the chance to protect themselves. It will all comes down to the muscle power. Who's more powerful, who has more muscles, will be hurting others if they don't have any
survival of the fittest.
Moral compass or any conscience.
So survival of the fittest.
Survival?
Survival of the fittest.
What is that?
It's an animal rule. It's how things used to be. The strong survive, the weak get crushed.
No, absolutely.
That's like a very baseline old philosophy, how things used to be, because during caveman times, that's what I'm thinking of. Like, it was simple. There was no societal structure. It was just all instincts.
Everybody
You do
was on survival mode.
Yes, you do this, you gain this. You don't do this, you lose this. Simple, because the people who lost that and the people who gained that, they are on like complete opposite ends. And the people who gain something will attack the ones who lost something to gain more, because we are greedy. But was that greed always like instinctive? Was it always there to take more? Or did we build that up over time with the coming of like currencies or like politics, power? Was the thrill of power so alluring that it's now all we think about?
Very good question. I think that's what I'm thinking. Maybe. Efendim. Orada. Arabada sanırım. Siyah arabada.
Continue. You forgot.
Hatırlayacağım. Ne zaman değişti biliyor musun? Türkçe konuşmak zorundayım.
When did it change?
When people were able to pile up things, when people were able to get more than what they can consume. Like, if we didn't have that refrigerator, we would not be able to buy, or we couldn't ask for more than 1 or 2 days meal. We couldn't store them. So when people started to pile up their money, their land, their houses, and they were able to transfer it to the next generation, which is cold. I don't know the English word.
No, I want to say something though. Was it when the allure of money and power became so, like, provident in our minds that people started to change? Was that when things shifted? Was it with, like, we realized, oh, I can have money, but what is the value of money really? It is life. But if it's piled so much, it's not just survival anymore. We can't even call it that. It's leisure. Because, like, if you have a ton of money, let's say, if you have a ton of money and you have nothing to do with that money, then it just piles up and it starts to mean nothing. So why do we keep piling it up? Because we want more. We want the feeling. We want the feeling that we can do whatever we want, even if we're not doing that thing. And thus I say men are greedy. And thus I say men are greedy.
The goal shifted to